Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently heading into the VAB here, and we need to launch another tanker. We need to meet our first tanker that we sent up and refuel that. I'd also like to send some sort of a strap-on tank that is a potential next mission. But for the time being, we're just going to send up a single tanker. Now, we have gone and departed a little bit from the Starship design, in that we've added some drogue chutes, just to make it a lot more likely that we end up recovering these parts, because it's going to be very, very important to us to recover these parts, and increasing the odds of that is very important. If we don't recover them, problems ensue. No doubt about that. But we did determine that we had about 6 seconds of extra fuel when we landed previously. So I'm going to move about 4 or so seconds into our burn here. That, of course, means at about 11 seconds, we should swap over to the Starship. So we can kill rot and throttle up, and let's go. Fantastic. So we are out of here with our Starship and Super Heavy. Or a facsimile of them. That's more like what this is. And we're just going to go until we're at about 15 kilometers here. Then we'll start our... Actually, maybe we should do it at like 10, since we'll have some extra burn time. That might not be the worst idea in the world. Maybe like 12. Yeah, we'll do it at like 12. So we're at 9 right now. 10, 11, and 12. So let's head on over. Ooh, that was a lot easier to head over than I expected. Probably because we hadn't built up quite as much speed. Sure, we can just make our way on over to that 45-degree marker. Excellent. And we'll just hold attitude right about here. Then the question becomes, what's our apoapsis going to be at detachment, right? So it's currently about 45, which is not super high. 50. 60. 70. Okay, we need to shut down here. That ring did blow up. That is fine. And we're going to head to horizontal velocity up, because, of course, we need to push ourselves up into an orbit here. And I don't want to target 200 like we have been. I want to target a little lower than that, 150 or so that we can actually do a rendezvous. So that'll be fine. That'll also mean a little bit less burn here, which will be okay considering the Starship's apoapsis is not tremendously high. Okay, so we're currently at about 89 apoapsis. I'm going to physics warp as we burn through this. 95. 100, and that's going to start going up exponentially. We're now in vacuum, so we're at peak efficiency. 125, 130, 135, 140, 145, and 150. Okay, so now we're going to hop over to our tanker, and that, of course, needs to get into position for its re-entry. So that'll be fine. We'll do a re-entry burn, although that'll be a slightly truncated one. I separated this like 1 second later than anticipated. And we need to be at surface velocity minus. We'll deploy our air brakes and start steering with our air brakes. Okay, so we're heading over towards surface velocity minus here. Cool. We're chasing the node a bit, but that's okay for now. Once we hit about 1 kilometer per second, I will commence a braking burn. And that is going to be burning off about 5 seconds of fuel, I think. Okay, coming out of physics warp. Commencing braking burn right about now. Okay, 5 seconds of fuel burned. So I'm not going to get our drogue chutes out just yet. We're still accelerating here, and we're going to need to slow down a little bit more for that. However, I'm going to do that to prepare us for the drogues. We're still accelerating. Now we're decelerating. Okay. Need to decelerate more. We're going too fast for the drogues. I did that burn specifically for the drogue chutes there. Okay, drogues are deploying. Commencing burn a little bit here. And that is a safe recovery. It was a bit of a spicy one with the rotation there, but we got there in the end, and that looks good. So we'll recover that, and that was definitely a little on the spicy side, but it's all okay. The drogues definitely make it a lot more achievable. I mean, it's achievable before, but there's more margin for error. So that is definitely a very helpful thing. At this point, of course, we need to get our tanker out into its full orbit. So we only have a couple minutes to do that. That is absolutely fine, though. We have plenty of time. And we, of course, recover 231,000 from that. That's a really big deal that we're able to recover that fairly regularly. If we were coming down on land, that would be a lot spicier, no doubt about it. But this starship is on a suborbital trajectory, and we need to fix that. That is the current mission. So we'll get that done, and then we'll get our 2 tankers docked up here in not really low Kerbal orbit, but like mid Kerbal orbit. I'm not sure what our final orbit that we want this to be in is, but we're pretty close to the apoapsis here. So we need to bring this guy out to be about here. We're just circularizing. Sure, that'll do. We'll align to that node, and I'm going to shut down these mainsails. Okay, there we go. So with those mainsails shut down, we're going to be using just our higher specific impulse engines. And this is not going to update correctly. And we're very slowly heading to the node here. Our reaction wheel is not very good, and we definitely need to extend our solar panel before we run out of power. That would be a pretty necessary thing. We can also open our shield at this point, but we don't necessarily have to. Okay, so we're just heading on over very, very slowly here. Let's turn RCS on for the moment to head over a little faster. That'll be a useful thing for sure. Okay, turning the RCS off, I just wanted it to start us going. And I'm going to commence this burn a little bit earlier, right about now. Because this is going to be a longer burn, so I'm starting the burn at least, like, burn time longer than the start burn timing. I don't know what the actual marker would need to be. But this is definitely a little too late. But that's okay. We just need to continue to accelerate on up. We'll have no real problem with it. We're just circularizing here. It's okay. We're going to be in an orbit, no problem. Cool. So we're just keeping an eye on that for now, coming out of physics warp. This is looking absolutely okay. So it looks like the overall burn time is about 5 times longer than expected. Sounds good. So from here, of course, we want to set the Starship tanker as our target. 0.7 degrees off. I'm not too concerned about that one as of right now, although we could change it, I suppose. We could head out to the descending node here and just get our inclination set up correctly. It was a slightly different launch profile, for sure. So something about like this or so. 25.1 meters per second. That seems reasonably fine. We've got 5 minutes to get there, so let's just go over with our reaction wheel. Boy, this reaction wheel does not do very well. Gonna get us moving with the RCS. Okay, locking physics. And the reaction wheel is going to try to move us down. But I guess we'll get some RCS going there. Yeah, that's the way to do it, is just start moving in the correct direction with the RCS. Let it drift, and then once we get there, we just time warp to freeze our physics. In reality, of course, you'd have to use RCS once you get there, but for now, this'll do. So 25 meters per second here to change our inclination. That's not a big deal. That'll happen in 50 seconds. 40, 30, 20, 10, and mark. Cool. Something about like that. That'll be fine. 0.2 meters per second shouldn't really matter here, and from here, we'd be looking for a rendezvous burn. So currently, the Starship tanker is here in its orbit. We're probably going to have to make some orbits before we have a rendezvous here. We don't have a lot of space between our orbits, so that's fine. It's going to be about 32 meters per second. Oh my, okay. Well, let's see how many orbits this is going to be. About 2-ish? Yeah, about 2.5 orbits or so. Okay, that is going to be 17 kilometers apart. We can definitely dial that in a little bit. That's 1 kilometer apart. That is significantly better. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be about the best we can do for now. Timing might be a little bit off, but I'm not too concerned about that. We can definitely correct for 1 kilometer. No problem there. Okay, let's start getting going towards this node. There we go. And it's going to be about an hour and a half until this particular burn, and that'll be absolutely okay. Allegedly a 1-second burn. It's only 38.1 meters per second, so I'm not too concerned about that one. Okay. 50 seconds. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. So obviously this is going to be a longer than 1-second burn. It's going to be about a 10-second burn, but that's okay. There we go. And that will get us a reasonable rendezvous, which will be up over here. 1.3 kilometers separated. We're going this direction, which is fine. Let's warp to about here or so and start looking to get ourselves a corrective burn. And what's our relative speed going to be? It's going to be 31.6. Okay. Burning towards target is probably not the best of ideas here. So we'll get tumbling on over to turn around. And the main reason why burning towards target is not a great idea is because of the speed that this thing turns at. It turns very, very slowly. There's a lot of mass here, and that is reasonably expected. So we're currently about 2 kilometers away. That is absolutely noted. And I believe I saw it down over here. Okay, I'm going to do this for some gimbaling, and I'm going to turn our RCS on as well, because we need to be positioned up this direction. Okay. So I want to put us in kill rot for right now. And I want to be up over here. We're just going to do one more corrective burn out this way for the moment. There we go. That'll work for now. And we'll just rotate our very, very slow selves on over. Now this guy, I want to open up the shielded docking port. I want to select our Starship tanker as target, and I want to point at target. Okay, we're also going to want to extend this antenna, which apparently we forgot to do. That's absolutely fine. So we can see that the target is currently about 1 kilometer away. I'm going to start this guy rotating on over. So that looks fine for the moment. Let's hop over here. And we still want to be at relative velocity minus here. We're going to need to carve off a little bit of speed here. Turning RCS on for the moment. Okay. We're just going to position about here or so. Bringing it out this way as best we can. Okay, 1.1 meters per second. I'm going to use RCS to attempt to bring this back. Okay, let's stop that tumble for the moment. RCS, can you not go this direction, please? Thanks. What I want to do is I want to bring the target down over this way. So we want to really flip over towards target at this point, to be honest. So we're going to be using RCS for the rest of this. I'm going to turn our RCS off as we flip around. And you, of course, want to be pointing at target. So let's move you on over. How much RCS do we have right now? We've used 8 here, and we've used a little more than 8 here. Okay, that's fine. As long as we don't use half, right? Okay, so we're busily flipping on around here. And we're coming in at some amount of speed. But it's only 1.1 meters per second, so that'll be reasonably fine. Okay, we're almost in position here. I just turned off our RCS, and we're in position as of now-ish. Okay, that looks good. Now for this guy. So over we rotate. RCS going off. I think we're going to overshoot this a little bit, so we need to freeze the physics and do it again. Just moving into position here. Okay, we've picked up a little bit of relative speed to the target. That is noted. Cool. So that'll do for now. Next, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to bring this momentum over, right? Which is going to cause us to do a lot of tumbling here, isn't it? What we really need to do is be braking right now. We're working on it. We're up to 2 meters per second right now. 2.1? Wait, we're heading... Oh, are we heading away from the target? Oh, we're heading away from the target right now. Okay, that'll do it. So we want to head towards target at this moment. Okay. So over we head here. 2.2. Okay, this is getting spicy. So we have drift here. That is understood. I'm putting us in kill rot. And we need to go this direction and compensate for that drift. There's been a lot of drift as we got turned. So we're just moving on over this way, and I'm going to burn very gently out over here. To about there. Okay, now we're going to go back to the target. And you should be also pointing at the target. There we go. And we can make some minor adjustments with RCS in theory. Emphasis on in theory. This isn't moving very much, but that's not shocking necessarily. Okay. I'm also attempting to brake us a little bit. But that is, of course, moving this node a fair amount here. So I want to move over to relative velocity plus. We need to get this velocity a bit more under control and get a little closer in. That is the primary objective right now. Okay. So we're currently at 1.6 meters per second, bringing it down and attempting to bring it over this way just a smidge. And completely failing. The node is getting pushed this way. So that means that we need to stop our braking maneuver. This is a lot. Okay. The mass is difficult to work with. No doubt about that. That's understood. So what we need to do right now is hop into kill rot. And we need to head out this direction for the moment. RCS off, please. And we just need to get this pushed back over this way. We're pretty far off right now, and we don't want to get further off. Okay. So now I'm pushing the node back. Although not very much. This will start to head back the other direction very shortly here. So this is a very, very small corrective burn here, but as long as we only burn like half of our monoprop, we're fine, and we're very close to burning half of our monoprop. So that's spicy. Okay, 0.1 meters per second. Huh. It's because of the RCS being used to hold position. Yeah. That's the core issue there. Okay, so now I'm going to hop over to this guy, and we're just going to bring this right on down. Yeah, the RCS being used to hold position is not exactly what we want here. Yep, that's what's causing that drift. Okay, so in that case, we're going to need to burn, like, slightly towards target, although we're going to want to go down over here, then turn our RCS off, and only use our reaction wheel. Okay. Only use our reaction wheel to head back up. And then RCS. Like that. Okay. Now we're going to need to get into position over here. Point at target. Thank you very much. And we're going to physics warp these very painfully slow turns. So yeah, the core issue here is still a lack of gimbaling. We might make a change to these tankers, or we might just deal with it. It'll be a lot easier, I think, a little bit later on. Like, once we get this docking completed, things will go better at that point. Okay, so this guy's lined up. Now we need this guy to get lined up. Come on, bud. Let's go. 0.9 meters per second, but once we're in position here, we should be able to get this under some amount of control. So that will be absolutely ideal. 1 meter per second here. We can see we're definitely drifting. Okay. I need to brake us a little bit here. Going to take it down to about 0.5 meter per second. 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, and 0.5. Okay, now I'm going to correct our trajectory here. So I'm going to turn Smart ASS off, correct our trajectory, and then turn RCS off and point at target, freeze our physics. Now, this guy is a bit off on his targeting. So we will just very slowly turn over here. And we are seeing our speed still change. I do want to let ourselves get a little closer here. So we're going to do exactly that. Boy, we have a lot of drift. We have so much drift. Okay. We're still too far apart is the core issue there. So what we need to do here, of course, is just bring ourselves over this way. We need to turn a little faster than this. Yeah, it's this turn speed that's the primary issue with this. It just takes so long to get anywhere. How much monoprop do we have right now? 487. Okay, I'm going to monoprop here. We need to flip around and be heading to relative velocity minus. That's where we need to be right now. We are fairly close together, and we just need to bring our relative speed down to 0 at this point. Man, it's complicated when you can't turn. I was assuming that the monoprop would make things better. It kind of hasn't. What we really need more than anything at this juncture isn't so much the monoprop, it's additional gimbaling, and we could definitely throw that in. Okay. So we're about 1 meter per second now. And I'm just going to be moving this a little bit here. No, that's chasing it. Okay, that's fine. So we're 0.5 meter per second apart right now, and we just want to get rid of that. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay. RCS off, point at target. I'm going to freeze physics and point at that target. You are going to point at target as well. Okay, I'm going to set you as target and set you as target. There we go. And let's just very slowly point at each other. Very awkward. I'll just have to, I think, ultimately adjust this docking procedure. My docking procedure currently assumes more powerful reaction wheels than what we have. I think that's very, very clear. Okay, so we're just going to get these guys lined up for the time being. We can see that we do have some drift going on here, but that is reasonably expected. We're only 70 meters apart from each other at this point, so it should be relatively okay. And we are sort of lined up. Sort of. Okay, let's bring this in over here. And I'm going to turn our Smart ASS off for the moment, correcting our momentum. This is, of course, going to give us a fair amount of tumble. Okay. Freeze that. And now we're going to head back over to Target Plus. Very, very, very slowly. And we can see that drift coming right back in here. Okay. So, please stop. Okay. Just bringing this right on back up. Right about there. RCS off. Kill rot. And we're going to point at target. Okay. So in we go here. We are attempting to point at target. I'm hoping that this is going to be good enough here. This has been a very awkward docking procedure, and it is all due to this turn speed. We're going to have to turn our Smart ASS off, do another correction. RCS does make this easier, assuming you're doing it correctly. Right? So that is fine. In we come. And we can see that drift continuing to occur. Okay, we have also drifted our speed here, so I'm just going to bump us up to about 0.5 meters per second towards each other. That will make it a lot less likely that drift comes in here. Fantastic. This looks solid. I think docking forces will take it from here. Boom. Clean docking. Okay, next we're going to move our fuel on over. So we're going to grab these guys. Every single tank here. And we're going to move this fuel over. So we'll say in. And most of these tanks will get fully drained just from this. The question is, how full will this ship get? Right? And the answer is somewhat full, but I don't think it's going to get completely full. It shouldn't. No, it's definitely not going to get completely full. Okay, so that looks reasonably fine there. We can now get this guy open and say in here. And yes, I do not expect this tank to fill. That said, this is a fair amount of fuel that has been moved over. No doubt about that. This guy is now completely out of fuel. Now, we could definitely move this monoprop over, but what I want to do at this point is I want to make sure that we still have enough fuel to bring this guy down and land it. Which, that's going to be interesting. I'm thinking that that'll be like these two tanks here. I don't know if that would be enough to land it. We could find out, though. So, we could do something like this. Oh, that's very slow. Okay, let's do this way. Okay. So then we would pull the fuel out of here next. And that would end up going into this tank. We can't do that while warping. Right. Okay. So it would be something along the lines of that. And then the question is that enough to land this? That's a hard maybe. That's a hard maybe. I do want to grab monoprop out of here. I do not believe we need monoprop. And next episode, we are... Nope, other way. Other way. Next episode, we are going to bring one of these starships back and see how the recovery of that goes. That's going to be very interesting. And I think it's very clear that our next starship tanker that we send up should have a dedicated reaction wheel in it, and we'll look to do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.